All right. So Wy'easter SkiMo race is this weekend. We're super excited to have everyone there, and weather looks pretty decent. On Saturday, we've got the vertical race at Timberline. Start time is 8 a.m. and weather right now is looking a little bit cloudy, light wind, but it's a pretty protected course, so we should be good there. And temp is looking to be around 30 degrees. Sunday for the ski bowl courses, we have the rec course and the long course. The start time for that has been changed to 9 a.m. So 1 more hour of sleep. And it looks like there's going to be some light snow on Saturday night and into Sunday morning, and about 10-mile-per-hour winds. Temp is around 30 degrees. As you all know, proceeds from this are going to be benefiting NWAC. So thank you for signing up. Thank you for supporting them. And we are excited to see you there. A quick look at the schedule for Saturday for the vertical race at Timberline. It's going to start down at Summit Ski Area, which is now called Timberline Summit Pass. And 7 to 7:45 a.m. will be the big bib pickup and day of registration. We are going to be helping shuttle some drop bags up to the finish. So if you're afraid about being cold when you end and you want to hang out, but you don't want to carry all of your stuff up with you, we can bring it up to the top, to the lodge. The trick with that is your drop bag really needs to be with us by 7:30 a.m. just to make sure we can get it up to the lodge before the road closes because of parking issues. So try to get your bag to us by 7:30 and also bring it in a bag. It is something you will need to get back down yourself. You'll need to ski it back down or however you're planning to get back down to the bottom of the race. So, but yeah, we can bring that up for you. 7:45 a.m., be at the start line ready to go, and we'll have a pre-race briefing, just reviewing any last things with the course. And then 8 a.m., be ready to race. We'll do the send-off right at 8. We're anticipating around 40 minutes to 2 hours to get to the top. So around 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., racing up to the lodge. And then at 10:30, we'll do awards. And the awards are going to be not in Timberline Lodge, but in the ski area lodge. And you can access, it's going to be on the upper floor. We'll try to have some signs as well, but it's going to be on the upper floor. You access it from the back of the building, which will be kind of right near our finish line. So it should work out pretty seamlessly. And yeah, we'll just hang in there. We'll have some beverages. It has to be on the low key side because we're technically not supposed to have beverages in there, but they said if, we're low key about it, it should be fine. And then we'll have some awards, and we have gotten tons of great prizes from all of our sponsors and amazing community members. So that should be a good time. So plan to hang out. And then the other thing to note will be on the start, friends and family should probably plan to skip the start at 8 a.m. if they are planning to meet you up at the top, because we're just to make sure they can make it up the access road. It would be a real bummer if they couldn't make it up and had to wait for you in government camp. So yeah, probably skip the start and just meet you up at the top. So that's the deal for Timberline. Matt's going to be going over the course in just a minute, but I will skip now to Ski Bowl. So the Ski Bowl courses on Sunday, we have 2 courses, the recreational and the long. Again, the start time was pushed back to 9 a.m. So we've got 8 to 8:45 will be the bib pickup and day of registration. 8:45, be at the start line ready to go. We'll do a pre-race briefing, and we'll also be doing the Avi gear check for the long course. Again, that gear is not required for the recreational course. It's just the long course. 9 a.m. racer send-off. And then we're estimating around 2 hours, like 1 to 3 hours, 2 hours, something in there for the rec course duration. And for the long course, we're estimating around 4 hours. And we're going to try to have people on pace for 4 hours. And, if anyone's really struggling, we may have to ask people to bail on part of the route just to make sure that we've cleared the course at the appropriate time for ski patrol and ski bowl operations. So, and then at 12:30, we'll do awards. We'll be meeting at Ski Bowl. If you walk into the main area, there's the 2 buildings, you go up the stairs, you go straight through back to the snow, and you start to walk to the base lift, and you should see the Mountain Shop tent and a few other tents there as well. So that's where you can stop by to register and also and pick up your bibs, and then also for awards. Required gear. As I mentioned, for Timberline, we're really not requiring much more than skis, split board, tele skis, whatever you have, and skins. No Nordic skis allowed, but we're not really requiring much else because it's uphill only. For the recreational course at Ski Bowl, you'll be required to carry a helmet, and obviously for all the courses, bring the food and water that you think you're going to need for the day. But for Ski Bowl, we're requiring a helmet, same thing with skis, split boards, skins, all of that. But there will not be a boot pack on the rec course sections. You don't, I guess, technically have to carry a backpack, but you're probably going to want it for water and food. And then the long course, you'll need IV gear, transceiver, probe, shovel, and you should have been able to rent it if needed on Ultra Sign Up, but we can also hook you up with some, at the shop if you don't own any. The race demos are pretty much gone. We have a couple pair of Oxos left, but they're a little bit wider. I think they're a 106 underfoot, so not quite race skis left anymore. We'll also have Fulcrum poles will be at the Ski Bowl race, and they're going to be sending out demos of their Wy'easter pole. So if you are interested in trying that, I tried to put a picture on this slide, but my computer just was not having it. So it's a really cool pole, pretty lightweight, not necessarily SkiMo specific, but definitely like a lighter backcountry pole, backcountry specific. So you'll be able to check those out. And I will...
Jess, real quick.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you were trying to share slides right now, but I don't think your slides are up. I think you've done an awesome job explaining it. So I think
shoot.
Good, but I just realized you thought you were sharing.
I totally did. Sorry. Thanks, Matt. Well, I can send these out so people can see them.
There you go.
All right. Do you want to talk about the course?
Yeah, let's do it. And hopefully, let's get these shared. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Can you see the course? Just making sure I'm.
Yeah, the Timberline one. Yep.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Just making sure we're on the right screen here. All right. So thanks everybody for joining here tonight. Got quite a few folks on, and thank you for signing up for the race. I think it's going to be an awesome weekend, whether you're going up there for just Saturday for the vertical, Sunday for Ski Bowl, or you're coming up for both, which is awesome. I'm pretty excited to see how many people are tackling both dates. That should be an awesome time. And thanks to Jess, she's done a ton of work on this. So she's been super in organizing all of this. A big thank you to her. All right, so let's look for Saturday's course. Pretty straightforward. If you've skied the uphill route from Summit Pass or Timberline Summit Pass there in Government Camp up into the ski area, up towards Timberline Lodge, you've probably taken the Alpine Trail. So essentially we will be starting here, and I can zoom in. Essentially we'll be starting down here. In this lower left, you can see Highway 26 running here. This is where the rest area is at on the far east end of Government Camp. So we'll be starting here. This is Timberline Summit Pass ski area. So the uphill route follows the left side, uphill left, climbers left, and just ascends the ski area and goes to the Alpine Trail above that. So we'll follow the Alpine Trail. Pretty straightforward. It will be marked with green flags on the uphill. So you will have markers the whole way, but it's going to be pretty hard to get lost. And there are some sections in here above the lift here is somewhat flat, so it'll be some quick sections in there, not super steep, which in a lot of vertical races can be pretty steep. So there's only a few pitches that are fairly steep, but I don't think any of it really should require any sort of kick turns in there. It should be pretty straightforward. They did start grooming the Alpine Trail this year, so that's made the uphill pretty nice. So so this is where the resort boundary is. And you can see we've got this intersects with Lower Cruiser. So I'll switch. Timberline base has 2 maps now. So this is the Alpine Trail here on the lower left. This is Cruiser. So we'll come into Cruiser. So we'll enter the ski area kind of boundary sign there, and then hang left and then right. Now we will cross this run here, and we'll have some folks stationed on the course just for safety. Since we're starting at 9, we've got basically an hour until skiers are on the slope. So I'm expecting that for most all racers, there shouldn't be too many skiers in the ski area while the race is going on. But just try to stick to one side where we have the flagging. We're going to put the flagging where we want folks to hug. So so we'll hug left and then cross over and go basically take this glade trail, which is a straight shot all the way almost to the top of a flood. And then there's like a cat track that basically just traverses to the lodge parking lot. So right there is where we'll have the finish line, basically like right before you hit the parking lot. So fairly straightforward. Should be, it's about, I think it's just shy of 3 miles, and Gaia, when I mapped it out, said just under 2,000 feet, but Strava told me it was just over 2,000 feet. So all you numbers nerds will be happy that it's just over 2,000 feet. Although I guess it probably depends if you're recording with a watch or with your phone, but no worries on the details there. Jess, I cannot see questions. I don't know if there's any questions there, feel free to throw it into the chat. We can go through those as we talk about these.
I don't see any questions about the course. Cool. There's a volunteer question, which I'll answer.
So like what Jess was mentioning with the awards, so this is Timberline Lodge, the historic Timberline Lodge, and then this building A over here, where you see the ski patrol sign, that's the day lodge. So that's where we'll be on the second floor, I believe. So there's an entrance here near the parking lot on the lodge parking lot side, and that takes you right into the second floor. So it'll be easy to get in there. Just walk across the parking lot and in there. After the race, so if you're planning on skiing down, basically you can just retrace how you went there. This is a bit of a kind of flat / uphill, but so you can kind of skate over to above this lift shack for Magic Mile and then ski kind of across. You can cut across here and then down Glade and then back down Alpine Trail. It's going to be your best bet for that. Super easy. And by the time everyone finishes, there'll probably be folks coming up that way just because it's a common uphill route and lots of folks going uphill during the day.
And just to clarify, I missed this, but the route at Timberline on Saturday, it's an 8 a.m. start. I think, Matt, you may have said 9 a.m., but I missed it. Someone typed it into the chat. So 8 a.m. on Saturday.
Yes. Thank you for the correction. 8 a.m. All right. Let's move over to Sunday for the Ski Bowl course again. So here's Highway 26. I would recommend just at that time parking in the kind of general for everybody. Park in the general ski bowl parking lot. Basically, I think the sign says ski bowl west is where you'll want to park for that. I would, yeah, with the weather, I would definitely give yourself some additional time. Traffic can be bad up there, so try and get there. Maybe plan to get there before 8 o'clock when bib check-in is, just to give yourself some extra time in case there are issues with the roads. All right, so for this one, basically, like Jess was talking about, they've got the 2 buildings up front, and then you go kind of through those, and you got the base, the lower bowl lift here. We're actually going to start, and if you've raced in the past, we've started at the same spot, basically above the tow rope. So just a short, relatively flat walk, kind of above that fenced off tow rope, little terrain park that they have there. So skin up there or walk up there. And then we'll be just above that. Basically, there's a race shack there, but we'll have the start and finish there. So for the rec course, we will start by going up Log Road to Fire Hydrant to Bill's Gold, basically just hugging the tree line there on the right side. Then we'll angle up Kelly's Cut to Bob Strand's downhill. In the past, we've done a boot pack on the left side of this, but this time we're going to just skin up the climber's right side of Bob Strand's downhill there. In this section, it will probably require some kick turns there, so good practice for folks. So get out and practice them if you haven't. But yeah, we'll try to have a pretty nice uphill trail through there. And then it kind of flattens out a little bit above that, wraps around, continuing up Bob Strand's downhill to the top of Calamity. So at the top of Calamity, you'll transition and ski down. This is a black run. It's not groomed, but it gets skied pretty frequently. So it's usually smaller moguls, but it's a fun kind of wide pitch that runs down to that upper bowl lift. And then from there, on that descent, you're going to hug left around the trees. So you'll pass the warming hut, and it kind of flattens out there, going past that lift station. So you'll hug left, and we'll have it marked with red flags as well. We'll hug left and then transition down here below the warming hut below Dogfoot. And then from there, head back up and intersect with our previous uphill route on the first uphill. Then you'll follow that basically past where you transitioned before and up to the top of Ski Bowl Peak. And then you will transition and ski down Canyon Run here, basically from the top. You'll ski around on the green run. And I think it's not really to scale. The transition point might move a little bit, but just transition where you're instructed, and then you'll follow the red flagging down to the finish, which is you're going to follow Canyon on the other side of the lift station this time, and then ski down the lower bowl run here to the bottom, to the finish. Just keep in mind basically that you'll go past this transition. So what I'm thinking here is if you're going uphill and you started at the bottom and you haven't transitioned yet, you're going to transition at the top of Calamity. If you're going from basically halfway up the mountain, then you're going to go to the top. And then if you're starting at the top to descend, you're skiing all the way back down. So just keep that in mind. And there'll be folks out there, we'll be keeping track of bib numbers. So make sure that they're visible and that you let folks know, whoever's working, the volunteers that are at the transition points, let them know your bib number when you go through that. And they can help. We're gonna have it kind of as a little checklist. So if you're not quite sure if you should keep going up, they can tell you if you've already been there. But just remember, on your second time up, you'll go past that first transition point and head to the top. Any questions there?
Someone did ask if both the rec and the long courses are starting at the same time, and yes, they are. It's going to be a mass start.
Yeah. So it should be fun. Should be a good, have everybody start off at once. It'll be a mad dash. This fire hydrant run is, if you've raced this before, we're kind of starting off on the same course. And so fire hydrant is definitely a fairly steep start. So it's easy to get overzealous and push yourself. So definitely keep that in mind, that it starts out fairly steep, but kind of, there's a few sections where it's steeper but does mellow out. So don't destroy yourself too early. Any other questions?
Nope.
Cool. Yeah, I think I think this one has an elevation gain of like 1,600 feet for this one, and two good skis in there. So I think it'll be a great course if folks first SkiMo race or first experience with this type of thing. So looking forward to having folks run this one. All right, let's talk about the long course here. So basically same deal with the start location. And again, we're gonna head up fire hydrant, sticking to the right. Again, heading up, transitioning at that first transition at the top of this calamity run, skiing down, hanging skiers left, transitioning at the bottom of Dogfoot, and then climbing back up and intersecting with Bob Strand's downhill. And then from there, you're gonna take that back up kind of below Ski Bowl Peak, and we'll head out Hannah Ridge to Tom Dick Peak. There is kind of a slight downhill, but then it climbs a decent bit to get up to Tom Dick Peak. I tried to skate it, and it was definitely a challenge. So I think keeping skins on there would be in your best interest, unless you're a super strong skater. From there, at Tom Dick Peak, you'll transition, ski basically the fall line down this Tom Dick Bowl. You'll see there's kind of like these chutes to skiers left, but they're a far ways off. So we'll have flagging that goes basically straight down the middle of this, and then follows a couple. There's kind of flattens out a little bit here, and then there's two smaller drops within this ruins of ruins. I think this will be pretty quick, and the snow conditions should be good. I know the snow they had kind of earlier this week and this past weekend, and since then it's been cold, so the whole snow is holding up quite well. But once we're at the bottom there, we'll transition and we'll have somebody down there, and we'll start with, so you have skins on, skin up here until there's a section of kind of trees here. And so you'll transition, I would say, take skins off and then throw skis on your back, on your pack, and then boot pack up to the top of Ski Bowl Peak. You will cross briefly the kind of where the uphill route went here, but it's a small section. We'll have it flag there. You'll just go, it's basically just straight uphill to the top of Ski Bowl Peak. And then from there, we will drop off of that, ski Calamity and Lower Bowl back to the lower finish area there. And then from there, you will do all of that over again. So 2 full loops of that course. So quite a few transitions. The climbs are not huge, so it should be fairly quick, and a lot of the skinning is fairly straightforward inbound. So yeah, I think it's skied the course a few times. I think it's going to be a super fun course with some challenging skiing. The kind of the intersection here and running this twice, just keep in mind, try to keep in mind which transition you're on. Again, if you're climbing from the bottom, then you're going just to the top of Calamity and transitioning to go down. And then if you're transitioning and skiing uphill from kind of that midpoint, then you're going all the way up to the top. So just keep that in mind. And like I said, we'll have folks out there to help assist if you get confused on that. But I think once you're out there, it will make sense, and folks will be reminding you, okay, from here you're skiing down to the bottom, or you're skiing to the warming hut and to the bottom of Dogfoot.
There was a question about the etiquette for passing on the uphill.
Yeah, that's a good question. So yeah, especially when we've got the multiple loops going on, I would say if someone's significantly faster than you, then maybe give them, step aside where it's safe. Definitely don't put yourself in a situation where you feel uncomfortable by moving for someone. The default is that the person behind is responsible for passing, and they should pass where it makes sense for them. But if someone is coming up behind you and they're significantly faster than you, maybe step aside where you can, and just be friendly out there about it. Talk to them, say, hey, can I pass when you get a chance? But most of these sections, you should have a location where it's not going to be 2 feet of fresh snow where you're trying to pass someone. You should have plenty of places where the trail is wide enough to go around someone with ease. But great question.
There's another question. Someone wants to know if they're doing both days, will they get a different bib number for each day? And yeah, the answer is yes. You'll be picking up a different bib.
And if folks are doing both days, I think, Jess, we can probably give them both bibs Saturday morning, just so that way they don't have to worry about coming back to the table and getting a bib on Sunday as well.
Yeah, we can do that. Just don't lose it. Yeah, we can definitely do that. Someone would like to know what you recommend wearing on race day. Like, Matt, you would be good for this question.
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say the term be bold, start cold definitely applies here. The downhill sections are not super long, with the exception of skiing off the top, but even that's pretty quick, especially once you hit the groomed run down here. So you're spending a lot of time in uphill, and so you'll probably be fairly warm. The temperatures aren't super cold. It is a bit windy, but ski bowl tends to stay fairly protected. So I don't think the winds will be they're typically not as strong as forecasted there. Yeah, so you're gonna see everything from a spandex race suit, which is like have some base layers on plus your suit. But yeah, I would say definitely side wear less than you might on a typical ski tour, but bring layers. That's I always try and start with as few layers as I can withstand at the bottom. Maybe start with have a light jacket on at the start, put it in your bag when you get going, or right before the start. But then I would say bring like an insulating layer and something that can block wind, whether that insulating layer can do both or not could be helpful. But yeah, I would say something to block wind and then something to keep you warm in case you have to slow down or stop for a little while. And then extra pairs of gloves is helpful. If they get wet, you want to have an extra pair of gloves. Maybe bring a warm hat too, just in case, again, you have to stop. I usually wear a really thin headband underneath my helmet, something to cover my ears. Oh, that's another thing. Sunglasses and goggles. If it's snowing, which I think it will be snowing on Sunday, highly suggest bringing goggles with you. And actually, it should probably be a requirement. And I think for a lot of races it is, because if anyone's skied downhill without goggles while it's snowing, they know it's not super fun. So definitely either sunglasses and goggles, or at least a pair of goggles on your helmet ready to go, because you will need to wear your helmet the whole time. Other than that, I'm trying to think. Costumes are always welcome. So not sure if we're having a best costume prize, but I'm sure we could come up with something for the costumes that are out there.
Yeah, I think we have to have the best costume prize for sure. Yeah, that's happening.
Sweet. What other questions do we have?
Yeah, someone's curious if they can we only boot pack the boot pack section, or can you boot pack more?
That's a good question. I would say we're setting the course up so that you can, skin everything. So I would say try and stick to the course that we've set. If you don't feel comfortable at a time, and you would prefer to boot pack, then no one's going to be mad at you for doing that. So feel free to pull over. The one thing I would say is, and I probably don't need to say this to a bunch of skiers, but don't boot pack in the skin track, please. So if you do need to boot pack for just comfort reasons, feel free to boot pack maybe off to the side of the run. But like I said, I've skied it a few times. I skied it in pretty firm conditions, and I think we'll have really good uphill conditions for skinning.
Is a biking helmet sufficient for the rec course?
Yeah, I think technically we say biking helmets are okay for both courses.
What if you need to drop out mid-race?
Yeah, that's I would say they do it at a transition where there's people staffed. Otherwise, all of these runs do feed down to the base area. So I would say if you have to ski down to the base and let someone know. One thing in the email, we should probably put our contact info and ski patrol number. So if you do have to call, feel free to let us know. But definitely, if you do drop out and ski down, let someone know that you've done so, just because we're going to be keeping track of bid numbers so we know where folks are at on the course. So please let someone know if you do decide to drop out.
Is there a ski height or width requirement?
Yeah, there are some requirements. I think it's the official rules. So would be, I think, 150 centimeter length. That's minimum length for females, and 160 centimeters for male racers. On width, I honestly, if you have anything skinnier than 60 millimeters, let us know. But most race skis are like 65 to 68 millimeters, like race specific. So if you have something skinnier than that, then we can address it. But if you can put climbing skins on it in an alpine boot that locks the heel in, then I'd say you're good to go.
Do you have a recommendation for length of poles?
Yeah, I'm 6'1.5" or so, 6'1", and I use 140 centimeter poles. So definitely longer than your typical ski pole. So I would say, like, if I were to ski at the ski area, do some alpine skiing, I'd probably use a 125 centimeter pole. So 10 to 15 centimeters longer than you're used to is probably a good suggestion. But again, if use what you're used to. There's no one's judging you for using a certain length of pole. So I'd say use what you're used to, but I think it does help to have a longer pole on the uphill, so you can get more push further behind you, keep you in the upright position.
I think that's it for questions. Does anyone have anything else?
Yeah, feel free.
No, crickets. Okay. Well, I sent out a pre-race email just an hour or two ago with some more information, all the things I was blabbing at you while you were just staring at me, and I thought you were looking at my notes. That's in the email I sent. And yeah, we'll send another one with like Matt mentioned, Ski Patrol. I think that's a really good idea. Ski Patrol and our phone numbers in case there's anything that happens. If you are volunteering, you should be getting an email from me after this call with just more details. Thank you so much for those of you who are interested in hanging out and helping us out. We really appreciate it. I think that's it. I don't know, Matt, do you have anything else?
No, I think that's everything. Yeah, our contact info is in there. Or yeah, reach out, Instagram, whatever. If questions come up, happy to help. But I think the email that you put together should detail all that. If anything changes, we'll send emails. I think would be the kind of default communication at a minimum. So if anything changes, we'll keep you guys updated. Again, the course maps that we've gone through, these are pretty much locked in, but you never know day of if something comes up that could change. But we try to keep the stats about the same if that happens.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you this weekend.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Drive safe.
All right. Good night.